Okay, let's go. All right, so Louis and I, we are here with Tobias, Simon, and August, the blauwal company. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's so nice to be here with you. And I must say before we start that I know August from beforehand. And the thing is, both of us, we actually went to the same circus school back in Trondheim in Norway. He's a bit younger than me, but I remember seeing him with Diablo at a really, really high level. And he was pumping so much and becoming extremely good at Diablo. And then he moved to Sweden. And then I didn't see him that much. And then suddenly I hear, no, he's not really doing a lot of Diablo. He's doing teeterboard. And now I'm with all of you guys. You're going to talk about a whole show you're going to have with teeterboard. And for me to talk with you, August, about this feels a bit strange, but I'm also really excited about it. Like, I want to learn because I know almost nothing about it. And I guess if you think yourself you're good at teeterboard, then I guess you're going to be real good because you're a great Diabolist as well.
Amazing.
I just had to get that out there.
Nice, okay. Great start.
So I'm wondering, where did you guys meet? Let's start with Simon.
So there's a gymnasium in Stockholm that's like their partnership with Cirkus Cirkör. And we all of us went through different classes. I'm the latest graduated from there. And then then it was August and then it was Tobbe before. But we all met when we started DOC, or SKH as it's called now. And we formed a teeterboard group in a class.
Cool.
That's really cool. How big difference is it between you guys in terms of age? Like you said that you are the last to come into DOC.
So I'm 22.
Yep.
I'm 26.
Okay.
And I'm 24.
Yeah. So Tobias, did you graduate before Simon came, or did you meet?
Yeah, we had the same. So the year that I graduated, after the summer he started.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
But then we didn't know each other, so it was just.
Wow.
And then I'm also wondering, did all of you guys? What was teeterboard your main kind of when you went to DOC, or did you do something else as well, a different discipline?
No, at DOC, you apply with your main discipline, so that's what you do for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you have a little bit of side disciplines to it too, but teeterboard is for sure the focus if you apply with it and get in.
Yeah, but it's also fun because the fourth person in the performance actually also he switched disciplines after 1.5 years. So he actually there's like floor acrobatics. So he's a floor acrobat as well as a teeterboard jumper.
Wow.
Wow.
Tobias, did you enter with Diablo or a teeterboard?
A DOC?
At DOC.
No.
No, August, I guess you were going to ask.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at August. Sorry. Well, my eyes were looking at August. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. Yeah.
I was ready.
I when I moved to Stockholm from Trondheim to do the gymnasium at this first school in Stockholm that we're talking about, and there quite quickly I switched to teeterboard and acrobatics.
Wow.
I think mainly I was very, as I'm sure you can relate, I was standing a lot juggling in a corner by myself. And then I came to Sweden and there were so many acrobats together, doing a group thing. And I don't know, I switched to this, and sometimes I've been I still at times do Diablo, but it's been the main thing for 7 years now, teeterboard.
Wow.
And then we together, and then when we applied to DOC all at the same time, it was really teeterboard. It was not Diablo.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. So how about you, Tobias and Simon? Do you guys have any second secret skills that we don't know about?
So I did, after the Cirkus Cirkör school in Stockholm, I moved to Denmark.
Yeah.
and didn't have any teeterboard partners. That was always a problem for me, even in Sikar and in Denmark. So I did rope for a year and a half.
Whoa.
I haven't really practiced it a lot lately, but it was some intense training there that I did, and enjoyed it for sure.
Cool.
And I started off with doing parkour, so like floor acrobatics was always close to hand, and then I found the circus, and it developed mostly into teeterboard, but I also found like zero wheel as I started in the gymnasium, and then also continued with as a secondary discipline in ATOC.
Wow.
Everyone has done so many different things. I'm wondering, do you guys think it's very helpful to kind of have a broad kind of motor skill control, not to just be really one?
For sure. It's also a lot of fun to do other stuff.
I think the fun factor is also very strong to allow other muscles to work, or just different parts of your brain to be very active. Teeterboard is super exciting, but comparing it to rope would be almost, it's two different worlds, and it's nice to be part of both.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because one thing, I tried to look at some few Instagram clips like 10 minutes before we talk together now. And one thing that I see kind of happens a lot, which I know at least Lewis and I, we love, and that's kind of corrections.
Mhm,
We made an entire juggling film called Corrections like almost 10 years ago. And because often you land, and then you might fall off a little bit, but then you run back. Or maybe someone else runs to the other side to kind of save it in a way. I'm wondering, how do you guys end up not hurting yourself really badly? Or how often does it happen that you actually hurt yourself?
We, for sure, at times, maybe have a little injury. But it's actually also interesting that you say this thing about corrections, because we've been playing a lot with a, like, say, improvisational element of it, and pushing like these like late second getting back to the board, or like this rhythm of it also, because it's like especially how we've been taught in school. It's a lot about these like perfect jumps, and as a group of multiple people, it's so easy to also like push the space and like all this like run back to do it last second, and be multiple people on different sides, or like say correct this different ways. And we've been actually like also doing a bit of when on the board multiple people, well, from the jugglers in our class started talking about multiplexes when they
I was
saw
going
us
to mention
jumping.
that. I saw that on
Yeah.
Instagram. It was mega.
So we've been talking a lot about doing some more, say, sequencing and thinking about it like this. So that's coming also in the future more and more.
Have you ever tried a triplex? So 3 people. No.
We have done
We did
triplexes. Yeah, exactly.
But it's also hard.
And
But we are
it's
getting there.
It's so much pressure for the board in itself as well. Like,
Yeah.
we also had moments of we push ourselves in the way we work with the teeterboard, and obviously by learning of how to be on a board, and also taking a decision when not to be on the board, is always the same, right?
Yeah.
But we also came to a point where we realized we're taking the pressure of the board to a slightly different world, and yeah, we had a moment where we put so much pressure on it that we actually injured it a little bit more than we wished for. It didn't fully snap up, but still a little crack in a board like that is problematic. But there's almost a little sense of pride next to it, being able to
generate that much force.
Yeah, in a way.
But I haven't heard of a single other teeterboard group snapping / cracking the board from actual usage, and not like say transporting it wrong or stuff like this, but like putting so much force in, like when we're training, that it goes in the middle.
So can you did he hear it when it happened, or did he feel it?
We were like in a presentation, So I think our minds were in another state, but the audience, after they told us, wow, there was a big crack. And we were like, oh.
Looking back at the video, you can also clearly hear a little.
Wow. Are we able to put that video in here?
Yeah.
Oh, you have the video?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's also on our Instagram.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's a really cool trick.
Yeah.
Don't try it.
Super cool.
Don't
So
try
sad
it.
that we can't do it more.
Okay, we are actually going to ask more questions about like teeterboard in general, because at least I find this so cool, and I think you do as well, Luis.
Yeah.
But of course we need to talk a little bit about the EJC, because you are coming there, you're going to have a show. But to start off, please tell us the name of the group, who are a part of the group, and what is the show called? Let's start with Tobias.
So the group is still the company that we have. It's Blauwal company that we go under. The show that we're creating is called Vårved, and a translation for that in English is Springwood, but we've chosen to stay with the Swedish way of presenting it. And part of this project as performers, it's Simon, August, Simeon, the guy that we spoke about, and myself. And incorporating other friends when it comes to outside eyeing or photography and creation to actually, for example, making a video that you can use, but also for our own usage.
Could you please also explain what does blauwal company mean, and why are you called that, and why is it called Vårve, the show?
Great.
So we can start with the show. It's a double play, like a word play in Swedish. It's Springwood as the first part of when a tree grows. Like when you look at the lines in the tree, it's like the lighter lines, and then the darker ones is the bark. So it symbolizes like growth and newness in a way. But it also means our wood. So if you separate the two words in Swedish, vårved is our wood. And we find it quite cool that we are using a bunch of planks in the show. We have our teeterboard. It's like a bit our core element we've got to know this couple of years, and that we also work with.
Cool.
Also, I thought about the third thing, like spring. Of course, you have the season, but also kind of that it springs up.
Yeah.
That's
It's many different things. That's really cool. Wow. I before the interview, I heard from August that you were, I don't remember the name for it right now, but kind of that you're gathering the group for a couple of weeks to just train hard for creating this show. Yeah, residency. That's the word I was looking for. How was the residency, and do you feel like the show is ready now, or is it still some things that you want to tweak?
We just got done with 2 weeks at Riksteatern. Thank you for supporting us. And for sure we have a lot of stuff to continue on and create. But it was interesting because when we were done, we all said like, shit, if we had one more week of, instead of say labbing and creating material, we just take what we have and we put it together. This could already be quite amazing, because we were really in the labbing stage. So we were not spending very much time on putting it together and contextualizing and all of this stuff, but rather also getting used to the planks as a group together and all of this stuff. So now we're going to prepare a bit before, and then we have 2 residencies again, everyone together before the EJC. And I think this is more or less about, say, well, writing it together and doing this. Like the material is really there. We just have to dive deeper and deeper in.
Is this going to be the first time you perform this actual act?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
like we are creating it now before the summer, and we have some like work in progress, of course,
Yeah.
on the way. And then we perform at EJC, and we got the location. We will be outdoors, so
Wow.
I hope it doesn't rain. and then we are, so that's the first version, and then we are going to also continue after the summer with a little with some residency and see where it like take what we learned and continue building it a bit.
Wow.
I think we'll also, sorry,
I was going to say, how long is the show?
it's we're aiming for 40 minutes. What
Cool.
I wanted to say was that I just want to like sneak in is that also a reason for why we're continuing to really develop it, and I think for the longer run, is we've spoken a lot about doing it site specifically for the different venues and doing this, and to really be able to do creations and to different types of opportunities for playing.
Cool.
Yeah, Tobias, I'm curious because August mentioned that it was kind of more of a creative process, as I understood it, the residency. And I'm wondering, how is it to kind of be creative with teeterboard in terms of that you also have, of course, the danger element in it? Like, what elements do you kind of focus on when you are in the creative process? Because, of course, I understand you can do different flips and stuff, but I know there's so much more to it. So please explain, this creative process.
Right. So during school time, we had a lot of time with the board in itself. We were able to develop techniques and also communication in between us that opened up doors for using the board in different ways. That also means jumping really high, but also lower, playing with rhythm, etc. So there was a lot of things that we had done that we felt like, okay, we can take inspiration from this, but now we kind of want to go a step further. We want to ask, okay, well, what is it actually that we're doing? We're jumping on a wooden plank. And so it became, okay, but can a normal wooden plank do what we're doing? No, it cannot. But what can a normal wooden plank do? So where are the similarities in between them and where are the differences? So the majority of the time, yes, we used the teeterboard, but we used it in ways that we've never used it before. And that doesn't necessarily mean jumping very high. We took it away from the platform. We stripped it from certain parts that are always there, and we played around with positions of the mat. What does it take and what does it give? So the creative process has been to ask the questions that we didn't really have time to do in school, because in school it was fairly technically and is to a certain extent also a little time pressured. You have to do a presentation and then you move on. And now we suddenly had 2 weeks and we could dispense our time however we wanted. So we asked questions that we hadn't properly asked before. And that became a connection to the planks and their function.
Wow. So cool.
This sounds so amazing. I'm wondering, like, some general things about teeterboard, like how long is the board? How high up over the ground is it, in the middle and on the sides? How high do you guys jump? I know that's a silly question coming, like you always get that with a Diablo. How high can you throw? But I'm actually wondering, how high do you guys jump?
We usually say we jump 7 to 8 meters.
7 to 8 meters.
Oh my god!
But normally there's like a comfortable height is 6. Like if you're gonna do flips and stuff, it's often like reduced a little bit. And the board is 320. It's made from a Norwegian board maker here in Stockholm. Shout out. And it's fantastic to feel like wood bend under your feet and shooting you up in the air.
How is it expensive? Yeah.
It's a craftsmanship. So yeah. And there's there's this wooden board, and then it's a metal frame that it's standing on. But mostly like mats are shitty expensive.
Really?
Oh, okay. That's the main
It's
cost.
like it's really the main cost.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm curious. Would making the board longer or putting it higher over the ground, would this in any way increase the height of your jumps, or wouldn't it change anything?
They have experimented with this a bit, and I think come to a conclusion that there's like if it would be longer, there's so much more power like being lost, so it doesn't really work. But the stiffness and the angle of the board, how steep it is for sure a factor, and then it's due to weight and to also where you want to shoot yourself and land.
Yeah.
We jump tic tac, as it's called, mostly.
What is that?
So there's
just up and down? Okay.
Yeah.
Sides up 2-2.
Exactly. So you always get the push back. We rarely jump out to do a lot of flips for one jump.
Yeah.
And then it's also like more efficient to have a softer board that can take like a bit more hits to give you the same whips.
Wow.
Also, something that's quite interesting that we would like to put out there as well is usually the board it's 50 centimeters wide. What we wanted to do is we added 5 centimeters to make it a little bit wider for open up the doors to actually be 2-on-2 on each side, for example, in a comfortable way. It's possible with the 50, but the 55 brings it a little bit of a feeling to it.
Yeah.
Nice. I remember I saw this one group, I think the Russian, and they do quite a bit of jumping down from kind of a ladder or something and just pushing this one guy crazy up in the air. And was it 6 flips? Something crazy like that.
Probably.
Are you guys using, of course you are talking about wood, but outside of that main show, are you experimenting with stuff like that, for example? A place to jump down from, or is it mainly the teeterboard itself that you use for practice?
No, for sure.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, for sure. We do a lot of we've tried these things. The board we have with with all the different things we spoke about now is optimized for this type of jumping.
Okay.
The boards they use are like they have more angle and they're a bit different. I don't know exactly. I haven't actually tried, but they wouldn't be so nice to like jump back on. But it's for it's something that is that we train and that is also quite normal to do because we have so many mats that you can jump down and then you can go out to a mat that people hold for you to land on. So it's
A lot of one of our other projects called Prologue has a lot to do with this as well, of opening up the world, of entering the board from a different angle or a side, let's say from a height or from whatnot. So yes, it's very possible, but we're not using it in the way that they are using it.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's also like you can see the teeterboard as a mechanism or something to shoot you up in the air, but you can also, we used to see it as something that like takes your jump to be safe of like falling down and reduces the impact.
Yeah, but because can you talk a little bit about that? Because I can understand that if someone is standing on the other side and you jump very, very high, it's going to feel okay in your legs. I guess it probably hurts a bit, but I don't know. But what if one guy jumps here and then this guy falls off and then now he's going to land here and no one is standing here? Because I guess that has happened before, many times probably. But how much does it hurt, and are you usually okay when it happens? Does it happen almost every practice? How common is it?
When you start training, it's more common, but it's like we are very used to it happening, and we know how to land so that it hurts the least. There are also mats under. But yes, I mean, if you're very high, again, like it's not super comfortable.
A lot with teeterboard is also to do, like, if you crash or whatnot, which you eventually at some point will do, right? And then same thing in acrobatics or juggling, you will lose a ball. And the question is not really if you can throw the ball, it's more if you can allow it to crash. So if I were to crash in acrobatics or on the board, if I know how to crash, I can stay safe, and I can make sure that the least amount of, if it's pain or injury, is being provided by the crash or whatnot.
Yeah.
So a big part for my own sake when it comes to pushing technique is I carry this feeling of I know I can crash. So there's no reason for me not to commit to what I'm doing, because in case of shit, I trust in my capabilities of making a risk assessment of, what's down there.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. I'm wondering, does the danger parts, does it hold you back? Like, let's say there weren't any danger. Would you guys be way better than you are today?
I think I can answer that. I don't think I would be very much better than I am today.
Wow.
But that's also because I think that, especially during the school years, I think we trained so intensely, and me also, I developed quite an unsafe habit of not using a mat, and for sure I would be better. I would have tried things I haven't tried today. But I also think I'm looking back on the videos of me doing stuff during school years, and I'm like, in comparison to that, I feel so old and scared now. I was so stupid. I did so much stuff that I'm like, how did I dare to do this? I think you really become in like a trance of everyday life of like, okay, this is fine. I will not fall. And then you do it all the time, and then this block kind goes away. And then you realize when you injure yourself that it's there again.
Wow.
How much do you guys practice on stuff like trampolines or different equipment to help your teeterboarding? You can start with Tobias. Oh yeah, Simon. Yeah, is it a lot?
Yeah. So trampoline is a really good way of getting the technique and then applying it on teeterboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would like to jump back because it's funny because you said better. Would you be better if there was no risk, right?
Yeah.
But then also better. Would that mean technically more flips and stuff, or like? Because I would say better is if you can do teeterboard safe, right? Then you're up there. You're for sure up there, and then you have a variety of techniques that you can apply. But the best teeterboarders I've seen are not necessarily the ones that make the craziest shit, especially when it comes to stage work. Instagram is a bit of a different realm of it, right? But being on stage is, well, as we all know, different.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been such a great talk, but I think we have to start wrapping it up. Thank you guys so much. But I want to have one last question before we finish. And that's, what do you guys want the crowd to be left with when the 40 minutes of the show is over?
I would want to leave them with a positive sensation that they've seen and experienced something that either just made them smile and it was impressive, or it made them think in a way of, because what we're doing is we're questioning the function of the planks, right? And we're taking them in different directions. So maybe a questioning of normal material that you see every day.
And I would want them to think that they want to go home and build some furniture out of wood.
I think more appreciation for wood is a good point.
Amazing. Tobias, Simon, August, and also Simeon, the Blauwal company. Thank you guys so much for joining this podcast. Everyone, let's finish up.
Boom.